just a little crazy. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. Yeah. Under my skin, into my bones, I feel insanity begin to make its home into my vision and through my mouth. Somebody's working me to get me all strung out. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. There goes my reason. Where's all my hope? I'm just a puppet pulled by strings to make me choke. I'm seeing nothing.
We are the Freak Show.
What's all this noise? Could someone give me something just to get me to this poison? It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little
All right, you're more in the brain now. Billy's back from jail. This is right now.
Yeah.
Jeff Landry.
Yeah, Billy Altman was in jail. He's been
It's
jail.
alright.
Billy back.
It's alright.
We're gonna write a song for you, Billy, called Billy's Back.
It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. It's alright. It's alright.
Throw it back in jail.
It's alright.
Lily doesn't have your back.
I'm just a little crazy under my skin. Into
Although I do
my
like what he
bones.
posted to get himself in
Feel
jail.
insanity begin to make
Can you
me
say?
slow.
It's a picture of like Tom Brady
Through
like
my vision,
crying about, not
through
getting
my
the Super Bowl
mouth.
is what it was. I don't know exactly what he said, but that's what the photo was.
Wow, Facebook's got problems.
It's alright.
Tom Brady probably owns
It's
Facebook.
alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. It's alright.
This is prune juice.
It's alright.
Uh-oh. We're in trouble tonight.
It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. It's alright.
How you guys doing? You guys a little crazy?
Alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy.
All right, we are a little crazy because we are the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus, and we're getting ready to do our weekly thing. Our thing. We're going to do our thing tonight, and Lily is going to, because Lily is the concert queen, she is going to tell you all of the shows because that you cannot miss. So stick around for that. I think we got our stuff ready to go here.
Quite a variety.
I think we're live on all our channels. We've got Zoom up and working. I got my intro music, and everything. I think we're kind of ready to do the thing. You think?
I'm ready.
Word to your mama. Wow, where'd that come from? All right, here we go, guys. With so many bands reuniting and so many farewell tours and now Ozzy with Parkinson's disease, it can be tough to know where to spend your concert dollar this year. So on this week's show, we will be breaking down the rock and metal tours that are coming your way in 2020 and give you a list of the best so you can make an informed decision. You're listening to the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus, changing rock history one podcast at a time. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus, where we rock out with our talk out, and we encourage you to rock out with your talk out. We are live right now on Facebook. Let me break it down real easy for you guys. If you want to join the conversation tonight, you want to talk with us, go to LouLombardiRocks.com. We are that's a closed Facebook group just for true rock and rollers, which I know you are. Those people, in terms of comments, questions, whatever, will get first come, first serve. And Lily is also monitoring the Rock Rage radio feed as well. But I would encourage you guys to pop on over there too, because we do some stuff after the show, after it goes off of regular Facebook, where we do some lives in there and we have a lot of fun, and you can hear the real dirty jokes, if you know what I mean. All right, guys, you are listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Our website is LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. Please check back often for tons of great content. Lots of cool stuff happening in 2020, all kind of new programs associated with the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus will be coming your way. So I'm really excited about that. Releasing a couple of new songs. I'm going to give you a preview. I previewed one about a month ago that is going to probably be dropping at the end of this month. And then I've got the one that's going to be coming out, excuse me, like end of February. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of that as well later. So 2020 is going to be a great year. There's a meme going around that says January was my trial month. My New Year's resolutions, my goals really start in February, and I didn't plan on getting this kicked in the ass with this flu that's going around. So, and the holidays and Lily's party, and everything that's going on. So, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. But before we get any further, I want to introduce my co-host, the lovely and talented Miss Lily V6.
What's up?
What are you doing this week? So what did you do this weekend? Anything good?
Well,
I did something good, but you talk. I'll tell you mine later.
I did a couple good things. First, I went to the Tree of Life benefit. Unfortunately, I missed about 90% of that benefit because I got super sick and had to go home, and I apologize. I'm sure it was wonderful. It was put on by Twisted Fate, so I apologize for that. Also, the other thing I did on Sunday was at the Smiling Moose, I went to see Awake at Last with Openers Paradigm, who are a local band, and they are fantastic, and they really did steal the show on Sunday.
Okay, does Paradigm have a Spotify?
They might, but if not, they do have.
Have them get a hold of me because I want to play them. I'm playing a band. I am playing a Pittsburgh band as well tonight. So when we get into it here, you're going to hear them. They're called The Fading Light. Let's talk about the bands we're going to be featuring, because Rock Out with Your Talk Out, and we play balls deep rock and roll as well. So this is the home of that. We are also featured on Rock Rage Radio, and we've got to give those guys a shout out because they have brought an entire new audience to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, and it enabled us to get really great numbers and really great ratings, and be involved with things like Rockin' Pod and stuff like that. So shout out to those guys. But the bands we're going to be featuring tonight are Magnum, which is an older band, got a new record out. It's really cool. I think you're going to really dig them.
You always say that.
The Fading Light is a Pittsburgh band, our hometown. So really excited to feature them. Eric Anthony turned me on to them. He posted them in the group about a week ago, and I was looking for stuff to play. I went, let's do something different. And so I found both through the group, and I apologize. Rich McLaughlin, I think, shared the Magnum video. So thank you guys for bringing those to our attention. And a band that's kind of becoming a favorite of the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, I believe will be a bigger band in 2020 with us, is Blindstone from Sweden. And maybe we'll close out with a little bit of Lou Lombardi maybe at the end if we have time. Okay, and one more thing. There's always so much to do. Before we get into the whole thing tonight, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Wolf's Customs. Chris Thunderwolf Dodson has been a big supporter of the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus and pretty much everything that I do. He is passionate about great guitar-driven rock, and one of the reasons is because his business is to do guitar modifications, custom finishes, and things like that. So go to wolfscustoms.online. You can see all kind of examples there. And if you message Chris, he will send you some other stuff, because I believe it's his daughter that does wood burning, and I'm going to have some wood burn work done on at least one of my guitars. I'm really excited. I'm actually thinking about buying a Telecaster just to send it to Chris. To let him do something crazy with, because I'm kind of thinking I'm in a Telecaster vibe. So we'll talk about that later. Wolfscustoms.online. Guys, we have a lot to get through tonight. There's some great tours coming your way this year. So we want to make sure that you are able to find out about all of that and check all that out. But let's go ahead and get into tonight's playlist. I promised Magnum on the Houdini Rock and Roll Circus. Magnum.
Look, how can you see Jacob's ladder? Get ready to make your escape. And what you believe doesn't matter. Get running, there's no give and take. The shakes and the boom is getting louder. No birds in the sky disappear. Wild faces in fear, they surround us. Get lost in the dark atmosphere. There's no time for reason. There's no freedom here. You hear the cry, sweet mother mild. Can't save them all, but you can try. Don't sleep tonight, they hide the sea. It's not a game, no one can speak. And it's so cold, where's God tonight? Well, there's no food, no appetite. You hear the cry, sweet mother mild. You keep your life,
Hi, Hal.
child.
Gino.
Well, you can run faster than bullets. No stopping that noise overhead. Dawn's agony hangs like a puppet, and everything turns bloody red. The shadows have turned into ashes, while flowers
What's up, Chris?
refuse to grow. No tombstone to say who passes.
Good Irish name.
There's no goodbye, there's no hello. Full moon lights the darkness. Everyone is laying low. You hear the cry, sweet mother mild. Can't save them all, but you can try. Don't sleep tonight, they hide the sea. It's not a game, no one can speak. And it's so cold, where's God tonight? Well, there's no food, no appetite. You hear the cry, sweet mother mild. You keep your life for any child.
Vibrato, you could throw a cat through it. He's definitely like a George Lynch kind of instrument player, like a big wide.
Oh yes, I think it's pretty fine.
You hear the cry, sweet mother mild. Can't save them all, but you can try. Don't sleep tonight, they hide the sea. It's not a game, no one can speak. And it's so cold, where's God tonight?
That's it.
Well, there's no food, no appetite. You hear the cry, sweet mother mild.
feel like it should say like Magnum, something like that. That is Magnum. And let me give you guys the the lowdown on Magnum. Magnum.co.uk. So they are obviously some young chaps from across the pond, as they say. MagnumOnline.co.uk. Check them out. Band's been around a long time, but you know, I was thinking about it today. I was like, oh, should I play them? They're kind of a classic band, but I'm like, the radio isn't gonna play. Even like Sirius isn't gonna play them. I hope that they do. Not because
nice.
it's great, but it needs to be heard. I'm like, okay, this is my good deed. So this is what we do here. We try to feature bands that you're not going to hear on corporate media, great guitar-driven rock. So today's show is about concert tours. Well, let me ask you, Lily, before we get into the actual list, in your opinion, what are the criteria for like, I got to go to this?
Okay.
I got to go.
So
I can't miss it.
I've seen in 2019 I saw 73 shows. I wanted to go to all of them just because I like the bands. But the ones I can't miss are maybe ones I won't see again, ones I haven't seen in a long time, ones I've never seen, and the repeat ones are like one of my favorite bands. So I have a couple on my list as well, and I have quite a variety on my list too. I don't just have what you're going to expect. I do have what you're going to expect, but I have other stuff too.
Well, I would be disappointed if we didn't have what
Right.
what we were going to expect of Lily V6. Let me throw this at you, okay? I'm play sort of devil's advocate here. Why should I go to that concert? I mean, I'm just going to sit and watch it on a video screen anyways. So why don't I just watch the concert DVD or the
Because
whatever?
you're not going to get the same experience as you do at a live show. The energy at a live show is way better than just watching it on a screen in your living room.
It's the
people,
experience.
yes, you've seen Slayer.
Well, I know, but I'm trying
Well,
playing
okay, for
devil's
other
advocate.
people. Yeah, I know a lot of younger kids like to just like stream everything on their phones and YouTube and what have you. It's not the same. The energy and the people and everybody at a metal and rock show are the nicest people you'll ever meet. Some of the nicest people in the whole world. Not gonna knock country, but every time I go to a country show, there's always a fight or somebody's pissing me off. So, honestly. But yeah, it's the atmosphere. You're not going to get the same thing sitting on your couch.
Speaking as a musician, shows typically for me have been kind of impromptu networking situations. I run into guys that, maybe that we know each other from Facebook or they know me from Facebook and we get to meet face to face. Other musicians, hey, what are you doing? What projects you on? Run into me at a show. Hey, give me your music, and we could feature you on the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus. So that's another reason to go to a show. So, because you never know who you're going to meet. It is a cool environment. I want to ask one more question because I went to a show, and I will talk about it a little bit later. I went to a show this week that was really good. But what I've noticed, maybe I'm going deaf because I'm old. But what I noticed is shows don't seem as loud.
I think
they used to be.
I think it depends on the venue too.
Okay.
Though.
Depends on the venue and the band. Because like this thing I went to on Saturday night, I'll tell you guys a little bit later, it was awesome, but I'm sitting with my friend who took me, my date, if you will, and I was like she was like, "Oh, I didn't bring earplugs." And as soon as I started, it was like,
Probably didn't need 'em.
Yeah, we didn't need them. We could sit and talk. Like that's and I wanted to, I had to go. I did rush. Was bad and ran out of my seat up to the front during certain parts of the show. And when I got closer, it was more of that experience of, I want to feel the music like,
I think that depends on the venue and who it is too, though.
I think most of the time you will get that. It just depends on what you go see. So what do we got on our list? Let's get into our list because, we do drag this out long enough.
Well, real quick before we start, though, I do want to dedicate this show to Corin McLeod, who did pass away. She's one of our Rock Rage DJs. She passed away last week, unexpectedly. And I just wanted to go ahead and dedicate this show to her. So we'll miss you, Corin. And I do believe they're doing a dedication for her right now on actualrockrageradio.com. So
yeah, go to rockrageradio.com. You can download the app. You can hear great guitar-driven rock all the time. You don't have to just tune in once a week. So
anyway,
what do we got?
So I did my list before I heard certain news things happen today. So one that you might want to go to if it's still going to happen is the Ozzy Osbourne No More Tears 2 tour. He canceled a lot of 2019 due to the illness. He rescheduled tour dates. They've been announced for celebrating the Prince of Darkness live. Pittsburgh date, as of right now, is June 11th out at the newly named S&T Music Park. I'm still calling it Star Lake.
Everybody calls it Star
Just
Lake.
so everybody knows, I had to be official.
If you haven't been to the Pittsburgh area, you come through maybe once in a while, and you happen to be coming and you want to go see Ozzy, you remember it's Star Lake.
Right. That's what it is to us. But we did hear today that he has Parkinson's, so that might get canceled. Hopefully not.
When's the date on that again?
June 11th.
June 11th. Okay.
Out at Star Lake. For the rest of the podcast, I will be calling it Star Lake. This may be the very last chance to see Ozzy. Just saying. Hopefully, it's a great show. I'm hoping he's going to do well. Hopefully he gets better.
Is this a thing with other bands, or is it just Ozzy?
Right now, I only know. I was looking to see because I kind of forgot to do that. I think it's just Ozzy right now.
So it's like an evening with Ozzy.
Yes. And it's his farewell tour, of course. He's been doing it for about 2 years. But
Does that influence you as well if there are a bunch of bands on the thing versus one?
here's the thing. I like to see a lot of bands. I don't need more than 4. If you do more than 4, I'm probably going to go later, quite honestly.
You're going to go later
In the
or,
in the day.
or come earlier and only hear the ones you want and then leave me because you don't want. I know people that, when I was a kid,
Yeah.
there were shows we went to where I was primarily interested in the opening act. So anyway, and so we don't know yet. We're not unclear, but it appears that this might be just an evening with Ozzy. That seems unlikely to me, but we can maybe.
I'm sure
talk
they'll
about that
add
later.
more. This is all I know about it right
Okay,
now. But
right
of
now.
course we
For
can
right now, that's what we know.
Update everybody. The next one I do have on my list is Elton John's Farewell Yellow Brick Road Tour. This one did already come through Pittsburgh, however, and it's been sold out since it was launched in 2018. There is still a Hershey, PA date and a Columbus, Ohio date for 2020. Hershey is April 20th. Columbus is April 25th. I missed the Pittsburgh date because it was sold out. He's finally calling it quits in 2021. So we'll see if that actually happens. We know how farewell tours go. I think it would be amazing to see. I can't afford it. I can't get free tickets to this, so if anybody sees it, obviously that would be wonderful.
I'll be getting the Blu-ray or streaming it when it comes on Prime.
And I believe this one is just an evening with Elton John. If you do want to travel, there are Canadian dates as well, and 2 New York City dates.
Let's speaking of Canada, just want to throw something out as a reference to last week's show. Since the passing of Neil Peart, Rush's sales have gone
Probably
up
insane.
to 2,000%.
Oh yeah, for sure. That happens every time someone passes away.
He's
awful.
selling more records now than and a lot of there's a joke too, and I've heard this is true. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that both Elvis and Nirvana made more money after they died.
Yeah, that's true.
I've heard that.
That's Elvis is still making millions of dollars every year. Still, he's the highest paid musician ever. Still.
So what do you got next on your list?
Next, this was a cute little surprise.
Surprise!
The band recently teased an announcement for a U.S. tour for 2020 on its website with the phrase "Get Ready, America," and people are losing their minds over
I'm
it.
losing my mind. I don't even know what band it is.
The European Stadium Tour is for Rammstein, however you want to say it, is their European tour is wrapping up in August, opening the gates for a fall tour in America. They spelled America with a K.
Of course.
They tease locations.
they're badass.
The tease locations are Montreal, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, St. Paul, Chicago, New York, Texas, California, Mexico City. They're not coming to Pittsburgh. They released the dates today. The closest one is going to be in Philadelphia, August 23rd.
I feel a trip to Philadelphia in my bones.
Yeah, that's what I have
in
at the end of my statement here. I think I'm going to travel.
Because, quite frankly, that is a band that is so I just think is
They're never here.
great, and they're never here. And and I think it's a good example of somebody you might not get to see again. You don't know. It might take them another 10 years before they ever come back to the U.S. And where are they playing in Philly?
It's their stadium.
Oh, they're just playing this. They're
Yeah,
playing
it's a
actual
stadium tour.
Okay, it is a
Yeah.
stadium tour. That is really encouraging. That a band that has had pretty much one song that was heard on the
Everybody
radio
knows.
that everybody knows are playing freaking stadium tours. That encourages my heart. that makes me
me happy.
hope for rock and roll. So that is excellent. So. Congratulations to Rammstein and Rammstein. I believe that's correct. And if you're from Germany, please chime in. Go to LuLombardiRocks.com and correct my pronunciation. Annette Matuski, my cousin, is hanging out with us tonight. Hey, Annette. We've had so far Ozzy, No More Tears 2. Elton John Farewell Yellow Brick Road tour. And does Rammstein have a name for their?
They don't
tour?
as of yet. They're just calling. Well, it's just called the Stadium Tour right now.
Okay.
Of course, they just announced all the dates today, so they might change them.
Okay, we're going to come back in a few minutes. This is a band from Pittsburgh called The Fading Light, and we've got more concert tours for you guys to check out. Stick around. Okay, let me try to fix this. I paused the recording.
Is everything plugged in? Because it's definitely playing.
I don't have it muted, do I? No. They have this real quiet sound, which I'm really digging right now.
It's silent.
It's fantastic.
It's silent.
It's an internet thing. Here we go.
Feeling awful
Sorry about that,
familiar,
guys.
burning, and it is pulling me down with its weight. I have been here before, I remember the sound. I'm wondering if it's misfortune or if it's just fate. Well, I spent far too much time contemplating your motives and whether we're working this through. But you haven't said a single word, so I just don't know what to do. Now I know I shouldn't wait. Yes, now I know I can't procrastinate. Gotta get to it, gotta get moving now. 'Cause life's moving on while I'm waiting around. Left with all these words inside my head. Now I'm trying to apologize for things I never said. But you know I don't like it, you know I won't fight it. If you want me to leave you alone, then I'll leave you here and head out on my own.
Something else.
Now I'm trying to
I probably did something
apologize for things I never said. But you know I don't
Oh, see, it sent me a
fight it. If you want me to leave
some error.
then I'll leave you here and head out on my own.
I mean, this isn't really like hard rock or metal. It's kind of like alternative or something. That's cool. I'd go see them live. There's a video. You can tell they're like musicians. They're like cocaine guys or something.
Words inside my head. And now I'm trying to apologize for things I never said. But you know I don't like it, you know I won't fight it. If you want me to leave you alone, then I'll leave you here and head out on my own.
Yeah. All right. That is a great band from Pittsburgh. Ended a little more abruptly than I realized. My Spotify stream is got some latency or something going on, so I apologize for the beginning of that. But that's a band from Pittsburgh, and I want to tell you guys about them. They're called The Fading Light. There's a band called Fading Light, but this is The Fading Light. And you want to go to thefadinglight.net and get all the information there. I would definitely go check these guys out. If you guys are listening, we try to tag the bands, so hopefully they'll find out about it so they can share the podcast. But if you guys are listening, I want to come check you guys out because that's pretty badass. Most of the rock we play on here is in the sort of like hard rock, metalish vein, some progressive stuff, and we don't do enough. I guess that might be considered alternative. I grew up in an era when that was considered what they called college rock. Before like Nirvana broke in the 80s, that music was there, but it was primarily played on college stations. So I would always kind of consider these guys kind of like that. To me, they have that like great college rock sound where they're bringing in a lot of different stuff and they're not too concerned about what exact niche they fit into. They just want to play great music and write great songs. Dig them. The Fading Light, thefadinglight.net. We are talking about those concerts in 2020 that you do not want to miss. So what do you got next? We hit Ozzy, Elton John, and Rammstein. What do you got next, Lil?
Next on my list is something you probably wouldn't expect, but it's Bon Jovi. They just scheduled a North American tour for summer 2020 in support of their new album, Bon Jovi 2020.
Wow, new album, and good for him. That's take Stones to put out a new record like that. For classic artists, I mean, most of those records suck, and so hopefully this is good.
We hope. But it will kick off June 10th in Tacoma, Washington. It'll wrap up with a 2-night stint in New York City. Tickets go on sale January 24th. Here's what I like about it. Bryan Adams will serve as a supporting act for most of the tour.
Oh, no, really? We went on the Pittsburgh date?
Yep. Well, there's no Pittsburgh date yet. Currently, no Pittsburgh date.
They gotta come to Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh people are giant they're not Bon Jovi fans, or Bon Jovi fans.
I can't see why they wouldn't add one, but currently there isn't one right now.
Cleveland? There's
nothing really close yet.
They'll get around.
They're
from New Jersey. They got to play Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Come on. They should play freaking Morgantown. But
right. There is a Vegas one though, so that could be fun to go to. So that's
Ludini Rock and Roll Circus trip to Vegas to see Bon Jovi. Okay, what do you got?
Next on my list is another one that probably wouldn't normally make my list, but Rod Stewart, two-time Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, has announced a summer tour for 2020 with Cheap Trick. Kicks off July 21st. Tickets are already on sale for this one. He just celebrated his 75th birthday, so why not go on tour at 75? Why not?
Hey, Ozzy's touring,
Again, sadly, no Pittsburgh date, but there is one in Hershey, PA on July 31st at the Hershey Park Stadium, and those tickets are typically cheaper than Pittsburgh tickets. Just saying.
Hershey is not as far. I'm really trying to avoid a Hershey Highway joke. It's not as far from Pittsburgh as it's not a bad, just straight down the turnpike. And
you can also go to the Chocolate Factory while you're there. So yay.
Yeah.
Which is what I would do.
Ever been there?
No.
I have.
Is it awesome?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I went when I was a little kid and was like blown away. And in the early 90s, I was dating a woman from Eastern, like Central Eastern PA, and we were always looking for things to do. So one weekend we went to, I was like, let's go to the chocolate. She's like, I haven't been there since I was a kid. And we were both like, it's not as good as it was when you were a kid.
Well, of course.
So maybe if you have little kids, you want to go and something to think about. So, and you could see, and then you could leave them in the hotel by themselves.
Or get a babysitter.
And go see
Bring the nanny.
Go see cheap Rod and Trick Stewart.
Stewart. The next one I'm going to talk about is one that some people don't want to talk about, and sometimes I don't want to talk about it.
No,
but it's going to be one of the most talked about of the year is the stadium tour of, are you ready? Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Joan Jett, Poison, and who is their other guy Tuck Smith, who used to be in the Biters. He has his own little band now, so that's going to be pretty awesome.
Joan Jett with Motley Crue.
And Poison. And Def Leppard. Yay. I would want to go to see Def Leppard right now just because I'm sort of mad at Motley Crue.
I'm mad. I'm mad. So we're having a fight.
This is going to be one of the biggest tours of 2020. It's definitely most talked about. Most of the tickets have sold out already. Unfortunately, it has been to a lot of third-party sellers, so you're going to have to pay out the butt for tickets. They're actually co-headlining Motley Crue and Def Leppard, so not one is not typically better than the other, I guess. Motley Crue hasn't been together since 2015. I haven't seen Def Leppard in forever, so that's why I want to go see them. The Pittsburgh date, which is also rumored to be sold out, does have some tickets left, though. I checked. Is August 16th at PNC Park, and there are still some left in Hershey, PA for August 11th. Or you can travel somewhere else and go. I hear there's some in Buffalo, New York left, too.
Okay.
So this is the big one. It's an all-day event. It's going to be like a festival since there's so many bands on it. So I guess it's rumored to start at 4 p.m. So yeah, that's a long damn day.
That's okay. All right, that's. I knew that was going to be on Lily's list.
Of course it
is. You couldn't resist that one. Interesting. So what do you got next?
The next one is going to be the Green Day Hella Mega Tour. Here's one for the 90s kids, since it seems that everyone is coming out of hiding on tour for the new decade. Feature Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer. They have announced several tour dates for this already, but there are more to come. The bands all announced a tour the same day, as well as releasing a new single the same day, so they decided to tour. The Pittsburgh date for this is unfortunately the day before the stadium tour at the same venue, so it's August 15th at PNC Park. This may not be a big deal to people of the 80s, but it's going to be a big deal to people of the 90s. Different demographics, so that's awesome. But too expensive tickets back to back could be a thing.
Yeah,
with limited parking.
Not a show that interests me at all.
Right. That would be My Little Sister.
I would. I mean, I like those bands at the time. The band I'd be more interested in just seeing maybe like at a smaller venue would be
Weezer.
Would be Weezer.
I knew you were going to say that.
That's the band I would be really interested in seeing at some point. But going to PNC Park and the whole
parking,
thing,
and stage
the whole thing,
baseball games.
Yeah, like I might do that for Elton John or Ozzy, but I wouldn't do that for Green Day.
No.
I definitely wouldn't do. I wouldn't.
Fall Out Boys.
I don't know if I'd go to Frankie Eyes to see Green Day. They just don't. It's just a band.
They don't do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I liked a couple of their songs, and at the time, it was all angsty, and I was all into it. But then, that music hasn't stayed with me, whereas Weezer's music has. Okay, so what do you got next?
The next one on my list is the Black Crowes Shake Your Moneymaker Tour. This will be the first tour since 2013. They celebrate the 30th anniversary of the debut LP. This will kick off in June in Austin, Texas. So let's hope the brothers can keep it together long enough to make it to the Pittsburgh show, which is August 1st. They say they are hoping to reconnect with some people who lost their way with them because of all the other stuff they were doing. They do insist that the behind the music phase is over and they have made peace with each other. So I think this is going to be a really great show. I don't remember who's opening for them. I just tried to look. I don't know if it's just them. Probably not. It's at Star Lake. So
yeah, that is when is the date for that for Star Lake?
August 1st.
Okay, then I got to go to Philadelphia at the end of the month to see Rammstein.
It's gonna be, this 2020 is the year of the live show.
Well, I think because it's the 10, the 2010s are over.
Deal.
It's a whole new decade, so people are they're
There's
celebrating.
already 43 shows I want to go to this year.
Wow, only 43. Well, if you have so many, you better do another one here before we play another song.
Oh well, I mean, I only have 3 more.
Okay, go ahead. What do you got?
Journey. Neil Sean, founding member, Ross Valerie, co-founding member, and longtime members Jonathan Cain, Steve Smith, and Arnel Pineda, lead vocals, have set an extensive North American tour for 2020 with guest The Pretenders. With all
what?
Yeah.
See, wait! I call shenanigans because The Pretenders and Journey, when they were both on the radio, wouldn't have been caught dead touring with each other.
Well, now they are.
Chrissy Hine is still.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. All new production and hits from start to finish. This tour starts May 2020 and goes until September 12th. Tickets are already on sale for this. They will go fast. They are promising all the classics. July 11th is the Pittsburgh date at Star Lake.
Okay, interesting.
I know, it's a big year.
Yeah, wow. We're going to take a break. We're going to listen to World of Trouble, if Spotify doesn't give me any trouble. World of Trouble by Blindstone on the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus. Who's going to do the White Man Over by Whitney?
Hey people, it's getting late. It's time to pick your side. Calling out for a revolution. They're the problem and we're the solution. Here in the world of trouble. Calling out for a revolution. They're the problem and we're the solution. Here in the world of trouble. Calling out for a revolution. They're the problem and we're the solution. Here in the world of trouble. Put an end to bloodshed and pollution. Put an end to the great confusion. Don't be the problem, be the solution. Calling out for a revolution. Here in the world of trouble. 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 Yeah!
This is 2020. This is 2020. This is 2020. I'm Barbara Walters, and this is 2020.
Okay, guys, this is 2020. That was Blindstone with the amazing guitar work of Martin Jespin. Martin's a buddy of mine from way up there in Scandinavia. So
Really
the
cool
great
there.
thing about the internet, right? You get to meet so many people from all over the world. But Martin's band is Blindstone is a Grooveyard record band. Grooveyard Records. If you love that more like blues based rock, like this kind of reminds me a little bit of maybe like Budgie or one of those kind of blues based heavy bands. Grooveyard Records, that's kind of what they specialize in. Motor Gun, some really kick-ass bands in that genre. You can go to facebook.com/blindstone.official, facebook.com/blindstone.official, and check those guys out. So, concerts. We have a couple more on your list?
Yeah, I put some honorable mentions on.
Okay, and some horrible mentions. You want to do horrible mentions first?
We can. They're not horrible mentions. They're actually good, but I didn't want to talk too much about them. So we have coming in February, Queensryche on February 14th at the Roxy Theater, which is a beautiful theater. It's brand
I know
new.
what you're going to
in
say
Queensryche.
next.
And literally 1 week later is Jeff Tate.
They should just get back together. This is stupid. I forget who I was talking to.
I
Greg
saw it on-
Fristick or whatever. Yeah, Greg and I were. I'm like, they should just get back together. They're touring, like following each other a week behind. Like,
Yeah.
get back together.
Well, Jeff Tate's sold out at Jurgles on 221. Queensryche's not sold out yet. So if you
He's
guys
such a sellout.
need a date idea for February 14th, go see Queensryche at the Roxy.
Because they need some help because their old singer like beat them already.
Right. The other honorable mentions I want to mention are one Lou and I are going to, Y&T, at the Craft House on
Y&T. Oh, no,
February 25th. We are not having the show on that Tuesday because we're going to be at Y&T at the Craft House.
We'll do some live video though, or something.
Yeah,
for you
for
guys.
sure, and that's going to be a lot of fun. The reason I am doing that one is because I've never seen Y&T, and I love Y&T. So,
Summertime girls.
and then the last one I want to mention for honorable mention is Wednesday 13 with 69 Eyes. I saw it last year. I love Wednesday 13. I might love 69 Eyes more. Again at the Craft House on 225. I don't know how big that tour is, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'll check it. Well, let's talk about that later.
Yeah.
This might be something I might be interested in seeing. So, you got the two.
I got
big
two
ones.
more.
Here we go.
This one is one.
Lily, here we go. Lily's going to a rock show.
So this one is a little bit nostalgic for me, but Alanis Morissette Jagged Little Pill Tour. It pains me to say this because I was an angsty teenager when this came out, and of course she was who I listened to. This tour is celebrating 25 years of that album. It makes I just felt a gray hair. I already do see 21-year-old girls saying, "Oh my God, I can't wait to see her. I love her." I'm thinking, girl, you weren't even born when that friggin' album came out, so you be quiet. But then I turn back and I go, well, I wasn't born when half the shit came out that I listened to, so I have to shut up. I'm sure if I had a daughter, she'd probably listen to it too. So I'm glad this is actually being resurrected. There is no Pittsburgh date yet, but there is a Cincinnati and Cuyahoga Falls. She is touring with Garbage and Liz Phair. So this is like girl power.
Ooh, well,
tour.
I tell you what, I like Garbage, and I love Liz Phair.
Yeah.
Liz Phair is one of my favorites.
So this is going to be an actual good show for the 90s girls who were like me.
Guys
angry.
can like it. None of this stop
It's
this crap.
mostly girls.
It's not for guys. You
It's
can stay home. We want to come. I liked Captain Marvel. Everybody said men aren't going to like this. It was fine.
You can't sit with us.
Ladies, we want to go.
You can't sit with us.
See Alanis.
You can't sit with us. Anyway. The last one,
Be
which
like
I was
the
not.
guys section will be like the kids table, Thanksgiving.
You can't sit with us. The last one that I'm going to talk about, and I wasn't going to put it on here until they announced who was going to be with them today, Alice Cooper, Tesla, and Lita Ford. Alice Cooper comes every year. Great show every year. I love going. I'm always there. Go to the pre-party the day before, always. But when they said Tesla and Lita Ford were going to be on there, now that's something to maybe announce because I love Tesla. They don't tour enough, in my opinion.
I love Tesla.
And Lita Ford is obviously awesome. Little girl power there. I do love her. Their Pittsburgh show is June 26th. It is a Friday. So
Lita tours with the boys.
yeah, she does.
Because she's badass.
She is badass.
She doesn't need to be. I have my girls around me. She's like, screw it, man.
She's
She's
basically
probably
one
going
of
to
the guys.
drink the entire Tesla band under the table.
Her and I
right
are
now.
like kindred. But yeah, that's a Friday show, so that should be pretty fun.
When's the date again?
June 26th.
And we are, because we're in the Pittsburgh area, we're mentioning Pittsburgh dates specifically. Please check these bands' websites.
There's a ton of dates.
Yeah, there's tons of dates. It's not just Pittsburgh, okay?
We're just mentioning it for our locals
and for ourselves.
and for ourselves.
Yeah, because I'm like,
We're completely
Lily, like,
selfish.
what's coming? What's coming, man? I know what's going on. So I would know nothing about any concerts if it wasn't for Lily. So Ozzy Osbourne, No More Tears 2. It's not No More Tours.
It's No More
I think it's No More Tours. The No More Tours.
No More Tears 2 tour.
Oh, you sure?
That's what I wrote
Because
down.
I thought his tour was called No More Tour. Because he made this thing about it where, well, first he said, like he pretended like he wasn't going to tour again. And then he was like, no, I meant like no more touring like I was doing in the 70s. Like, what are you talking? You're fucked up.
yeah.
Elton John, Farewell Yellow Brick Road Tour. Rammstein, which is just, they don't need a name for the
Right.
tour. They're just Rammstein.
They're just calling it the stadium tour.
Bon Jovi 2020. Rod Stewart with Cheap Trick. Motley Crue and a whole bunch of people. I wrote Motley Crue and Company. I know Joan Jett was in there and
Joan Jett, Poison, Def
Poison,
Leppard,
Def
and
Leppard. How could I forget Poison and Def Leppard?
the guy from the Biters. that nobody knows.
Green Day with Moxie Frubus. No, it's not Moxie Frubus. It's
Fall Out Boy and Weezer.
And Weezer. Black Crowes with probably somebody. Journey with Pretender. Pat Pretender. Alanis, Won't You Go Down on Us?
Wow.
Jagged Little Pill Tour. Jagged Little Birth Control Pill.
Probably.
Maybe.
With Garbage and Liz Phair.
That's awesome. I love Liz Phair. Huge Liz Phair fan. I torture them. When we do porch drinking, sooner or later the Liz Phair record
I don't
plays.
hate Liz Phair. I think she's badass like Lita.
And Alice Cooper, Tesla, and Lita Ford. I guess that means if Alice is coming, our boy is coming. Glenn Sobel.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah, he's drunk.
Oh, That in some ways is, my opinion, something I enjoy actually
Whole reason
more
to go for him.
than the actual Alice Cooper show is the Glenn Sobel show.
And I love me some Ryan Roxy too.
Wait here, just give you guys a real quick and check this out in your area because I think they do this multiple places. Maybe they do it every city. I'm not sure, but what happens is Glenn Sobel was the drummer, right? Mm-hmm. For Alice Cooper. Well, he gets the Alice Cooper band together and they do a show like a day before.
Well, here.
Or day after?
I have updates on that. There will be no before show this year because they're going to be in Philly the night before. However, they're going to try to get them out at a record store.
Okay,
for signings
but
and stuff.
watch your schedule because if there's a break and there's a day off, they will do this Glenn Sobel thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it is not to be missed. If you're
fun.
so if they end up if you're going to Philly show maybe the night before Philly, they're nowhere else and they do it somewhere. They'll do it in a club and you get to see this, and they are monsters. All those guys sing and they play they play Motorhead and Metallica.
It's very intimate,
It's intimate. It's super fun. They put on a great show. Do not miss it. It's like going to hear the greatest cover band you could ever imagine. I can't stress enough to how much you should go check it out. I went the first year, I was kind of like, oh, this will be okay. I'm blown away. And then we went the second year again. We're standing on tables, stayed all night, closed the place down. It was freaking
Calico
awesome.
Cooper was there.
It was a blast. So, anyway, so, we got a little bit of time. Let me tell you guys a little bit about speaking of tours, this band has been coming to the Pittsburgh area for 10 years now. And they are called Get the Lead Out. They are a tribute to Led Zeppelin. If you like that sort of thing.
I do.
They are different than a lot of the other Led Zeppelin acts, like Led Zeppelin or Zozo. Those Led Zeppelin and Zozo are trying to portray Led Zeppelin as if they were still there and they were playing a live show with Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, John Paul Jones, and John Bonham. Get the Lead Out does not do that. What Get the Lead Out does is they make an effort to reproduce the Led Zeppelin sound as you heard it recorded with the multiple guitar tracks and the keyboards and the background vocals and everything. They do that live. And I have to tell you that it is insanely impressive. Absolutely blown away.
I did see some of your video.
Absolutely amazing. They look a little bit more like Aerosmith. So it's kind of like, oh, this is Aerosmith doing a Led Zeppelin show. And they even made a joke about it on the stage, and they launched into a little bit of a Aerosmith song for a minute. It was fun, but great. They do an entire acoustic set. Like going to California and all. I mean, you get chills. It was so good. And if you watch the song remains the same, again, because Led Zeppelin was 4 guys, they never used, until Jimmy Page and Robert Plant got back together in the 90s and they did a thing, they never used supporting musicians or anything like that. I mean, they had there was the studio version, live version, like Stairway to Heaven, for instance. We know the live Stairway to Heaven is kind of well known as well. But what these guys do is they reproduce Stairway to Heaven from Led Zeppelin 4. It's amazing. And they did Led Zeppelin. They did Stairway to Heaven. They did Kashmir. They did some of the more obscure Zeppelin songs. It's like you wouldn't think that they might. They did like Achilles' Last Stand. And stuff like that. And the singer he took a little break in between and he kind of gave a little bit of background about what they do. And he says they constantly rotate the set. So the next time you see them, they did 2 shows. They were two sold out shows at the Palace in Greensburg. And then the show on Friday was different than the show on Saturday. I talked to people. They were like, this is a completely different show. A mix of songs all up. Because Led Zeppelin is such a giant catalog. And you can't really go wrong with any Led Zeppelin song. Even their worst song is better than most other people's great song. Just that kind of band. So if you ever get a chance to see them, they're on tour. Go see them. They've been coming to Pittsburgh for 10 years. I want to give a quick shout out to a gentleman that I met at the show. I thought for sure I would meet some musician friends of mine. I thought come on, I'm going to meet, some guys I know. I didn't see anybody new, but I did have this experience with Gary Persinek, and we're standing in line for booze. I went to go to the line for the bathroom. I couldn't get into them. I'm like, oh, I'll get a drink instead. And we're standing in line to get a drink, and this guy starts chatting me up, and we're talking. And he says, "Where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from Canonsburg." He goes, "Oh, I live in North Strabane."
Oh wow,
Just like
right over the road,
right? Just
road
like
over the hill.
a few miles from here. And we laughed about that. He's a drummer. I'm a guitar player. We had a good talk. So Gary, I want to give a shout out. Also, Gary bought my drink. I got up to the front. He wouldn't let me pay for my drink. He bought my drink. So that
Don't
was
you love when that happens?
That was very, very cool. So thank you very much, Gary. I wanted to give you a shout out. Gary is also a musician, plays with a show band. I did not get the name of his band, but I wanted to give him a shout out. It was a great show. If you get a chance, Get the Let Out is coming. I would highly recommend you go see him. Lily said that the Bonham show was good. Gary told me that he was at the Bonham show, but he likes Get the Let Out.
I've heard that Get the Let Out is the one to see if you want to see a tribute band to Led Zeppelin. I've been told that many times. Bonham would probably be the second best, but yeah, I've been told many times that Get the Let Out's way better.
I mean, yeah, when they did something, when they whipped out like Achilles' Last Stand, things like that, I was like,
that's
whoa.
impressive because that's not one you ever hear.
Yeah, and the keyboard player also plays some guitar, so like whenever he wasn't playing keyboards, he could put in that third guitar. Like at the end of the outro to Stairway to Heaven, there's literally 3 guitars playing, and they had all of them going. It was unbelievable. So I got up the next morning and went on YouTube and was comparing a lot of other, because there's a gazillion Led Zeppelin tributes.
Yeah. For sure.
There's one, and I do not remember the name of it, and I probably wouldn't say the name because I don't want to shame people, but when they zoomed in, the lead singer was obviously wearing a blonde wig. It was not even it was like a bad, like, Halloween store blonde wig, you know what I mean? Just like...
Not even a good one.
No. The band, though, the other Led Zeppelin band that I'd be very interested in seeing, and I don't know if they tour, if they just play local, and that's Zepparella. I would love to see Zepparella. Their videos fascinate me. And that lead guitar player, the redhead, oh my God. She's so insanely hot.
Oh, Lou. And your redheads.
So anyways,
Gotta keep them on a leash.
LudiniRockandRollCircus.com is our website. Lily, I know that you're doing something on Rock Rage Radio. What do you got going on?
Oh, yeah, I have a show on Thursdays. It's Hot Licks with Lily 6. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, rockrageradio.com. Also, this Friday, I will be at Firehouse at Del Lago Casino in Waterloo, New York. I had to think of the town real quick. And then I'm probably going to go see Joey Belladonna, formerly of Anthrax, play his tribute band where he'll be singing Journey songs. So I'll go live for that stuff.
What? The guy from Anthrax is a Journey tribute band.
It's not a Journey tribute, but he sings Journey. And it's an everything tribute. He does everything.
Oh, wow.
And he is a super nice guy. So I'm excited to see him.
And you're going up to hang up with Lance.
I am going up to hang
It's
up
a
with
Lance weekend,
It's a
so-
Lance weekend.
So no party at Lily's this weekend.
No.
So Lily and Lance will be doing that thing. Then get it on. I don't know if I have any big plans for the weekend other than my band is practicing. I am working. I mentioned earlier I'm working with some guys to do a Godsmack tribute band. We had a drummer with some terrible stomach flu, so we were not able to get together on Monday to run it through. So hopefully we're looking forward to doing that next week. My original band is playing with a show at the Subalpine on March 22nd with a bunch of other bands. And this time we are not going on as 20,000 Metal Dicks, as a we have a name yet. So if you got a good name for a band, shoot me an email at lou@lou@bartymusic.com. But this time we're calling ourselves By Tor and the Snow Dogs as a sort of nod to Neil Peart.
He's got a new name.
For the show. So
I'm emceeing that show, so I'll be there.
it'll be fun. A lot of great bands. The Subalpine is really, it's interesting. Little Turtle Creek is like this, like, what the hell's Turtle Creek? There's like nothing there, but they are building this really cool music venue thing where they're getting touring acts and all kind of stuff in there.
It's a great little venue.
Subalpine, you can find them on social media. In Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania. LudiniRockandRollCircus.com, RockRageRadio.com, and a shout out to Wolf's Customs. Don't go on stage with a plain old guitar. Get Chris Thunderwolf Dotson, the genius that he is, to customize your guitar for you. Get wolfed. You guys have been rocking out with your talk out at the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus. We love each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for supporting great guitar-driven rock. Magnum opened the show. We had The Fading Light, and then we rocked out with some Blindstone. And we do have time for this, so we're going to play it. You know what I told everybody I would do?
Would you tell
No,
me?
I tell you what, I'm not going to do it. You want to hear a preview of my new song, "Sun-Kissed Nerd Girl"?
You got to get your ass over.
You have to go. You have to go to LouLombardiRocks.com, get in the Inner Circle group, and we're going to go to an after party. We're going to rock out here a little deeper, talk more about music. So check it out, LoudiniRock'n'RollCircus.com, Lou Lombardi Rocks. If you want to get the lowdown on the hoedown, the poop on the party, and the whole situation, we'll get you guys on the next Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.